1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Almost a weekend and you don't know what to do. Or you just need something fun to listen to.
Southside Pod!
Yes, we're on the air.
Pod.
And the gang's all here, all things on the South Side. We're listening to the Southside Pod. Looking for the best Southside breweries. Or you might just need an awesome place to eat.
Southside Pod!
Mount Greenwood, Evergreen,
Southside Pod.
Blue Island, Beverly, Payless, and Allsup too. You're tuned into the Southside Pod.
Southside Pod!
Oak Lawn, Midlothian,
Southside Pod.
Oak Forest, Chicago Ridge, Flossmoor, and Bridgeview. You're listening to Southside Pod.
And belly on up to our 9-foot homemade oak bar right here in the basement on the south side of Chicago for 30 minutes of good in a world of dumb that is Southside Pod, brought to you proudly by Tom Walsh, your Edward Jones financial advisor, right there on the corner of 111th and Kedzie. He takes care of your money, he helps it grow, and he protects it in times like these. Give him a call, 773-779-0023. We're going to take a tour of Lemont today, and we're going to find out all about the Southside wrestling scene. Mike was telling me that he's listening to a podcast about people getting eaten by wild animals.
Yes.
And I wanted to talk about this on the show.
Ours, isn't it?
No, no, it's not our podcast.
Sorry, I don't
but
really listen to this one at all.
It seems like a sickness. And by the way, if you like listening to this show, unlike Bill, you could subscribe anywhere podcasts can be found, and always at SouthsidePod.com. At SouthsidePod.com, there's actually like a big list where you could pick any app you want to use. Sometimes your phone will prompt you like, hey, you already have this app. Do you just want to subscribe? It's really, really simple. It's a good idea to do it so you don't miss any episodes. Otherwise, you'll miss out on this conversation right here. And this is going to be gold. I can tell. I can tell this is going to be gold right here, okay?
So Mike listens to a podcast.
About people
not
getting
ours.
eaten. No.
About people getting eaten by
I
animals.
listen to ours too.
Wild animals.
Wild
once a
animals.
month.
I don't
Okay.
know what happens. He just told me this today when he came in. He's like, I'm listening to a podcast about people getting eaten by wild animals. And I'm like, is it just screaming?
It's not
Like,
just...
No.
Is it audio of the eating?
That sounds
like,
amazing.
How does it work?
That sounds really good.
So it's called Tooth and Claw.
Of course it is.
Oh, that is cute.
Yeah.
That is cute. Is there a picture of it?
Yeah.
Let me see the
it's
picture.
just
Oh.
bloody letters.
That's-
Like it looks like a horror movie cover.
Right.
It's two brothers.
Right.
How many episodes
Wes,
so far?
they're in like the hundreds now.
How many people get eaten by animals? They have this
just
many
audio of
episodes.
people getting eaten?
A lot.
Have they gone back? Are we back in the 1800s
Like
at
they
this
run out
point?
of ideas there at this point. They're like, oh, I got bit by a chipmunk. I think it's
My
horrible.
ferret bit my ankle.
Remember that show, like 1,001 Ways to Die? Remember that show?
I remember that one.
And like the first couple episodes were like crazy stuff, like man was walking to work and a plate glass window fell on him. Like it was like, oh my god, that's crazy. And like
And then
the
it
next
was like
episode,
a kid ate
next
a
episode
peanut.
was like, the guy fell out of an airplane when he grabbed the door instead of the bathroom door. We're like, wow, that's nuts.
You can't do that though.
And then
That
like
doesn't work
6
that
years
way.
from now,
Yeah.
they got to like almost 1,001. They ran out of like ideas. Like
A guy died of natural causes.
Old age. Right? What?
We're sitting here in Lemont. I got Jason Berry from The Village. He's been on the show before. Welcome back to Southside Pod. And you brought me to Nick's Tavern. What is Nick's Tavern all about? Because the moment I saw this place when I pulled up, I thought of that movie, It's a Wonderful Life. Jimmy Stewart walks in there, and there's Nick standing behind the bar, and he goes, this is Nick's Tavern. We make hard drinks to make men drunk. And it was not exactly that when I walked in. It's more of a family-friendly place.
Although it's welcoming to everybody. You don't have Nick, you have Noel behind the bar. We talk a lot about what's happening, what's new in Lemont. I wanted to get a chance to celebrate what real long-time Lemonters love, as well as all the new folks. So Nick's Tavern, you see it right behind the bar since 1945, beef, burgers, and beer. They keep it real, they keep it simple. We're drinking, we're doing our beer part right now. We're drinking a Pollyanna.
Yeah, we got a Lexico Gap, one of their originals.
Yeah, so you walk into Nick's and it's all generations, right? It's the place you go after your shift. You see the high-vis shirts. It's the place you go when you come down and grab dinner at Barrel and Vine and you need one more drink. You walk across the street. It's a place you could come on the weekend with your kids and grab a Nick burger. That's a 1-pound burger. It's been featured on Chicago's Best. You could also just get the Little Nick like I do. I do recommend the beef as well. And it's just, trying to describe the place. it feels like you walked into 1945.
They still have the register, and it probably was the original one here. But more importantly, the bar's the same. The back bar is the same. You know, my family had a bar that they used to run, and it still looked just like this when I was a kid because that's what it looked like back then. But you know what's interesting is normally you walk into a tavern and people immediately think, well, the floor is going to be sticky. It's going to have a weird smell. And instead, this is like going into like a Disney World tavern because it is the cleanest tavern I think I've ever been in. And there's kids walking around and people of all ages, and it's kind of a cool place.
It's a hub for the community, you know, and it's been that way forever, and it hasn't changed. And the hospitality is always great. The conversation's always great. Hopefully, you know, you're hearing it in the background. Great bartenders, food coming out. You just can't say enough good things about Nick's. And I got to say, the owner of Nick's is now Don, and you can't say enough good things about Don. If there's a cause in Lemont, Nick's is behind it. They're contributing. They're really part of the fabric of Lemont. So I know we've been on Southside Pod down to Lemont a few times. I had to make sure that Nick's Tavern was one of our stops.
That's awesome. We're going to make another stop here as we're talking. First off, give me an idea of what's coming up very soon in the village of Lemont, because I hear you got Big Head Todd and the Monsters coming here this weekend, and you and I were laughing because you're like, I know who they are. I can't remember their song, and I'm like, they're the guys that go bittersweet. Like that's all I remember about them.
You know, my favorite part of Southside Pod is listening to you guys massacre a song from the 90s.
You're the only person who likes it.
But yeah, this Saturday, August 13th, Big Head Todd and the Monsters are coming to the Forge, and they're really excited about that. As we record, we're here in downtown on a Wednesday, the cruise night.
There's cars lined up here in front of Nick's. Like, is there a car cruise? This is like being an American Graffiti. Like, people are going to get in their classic cars and drive up and down the streets here?
Oh, it's going to be better. You know how Lemont does it. So we close the streets, and then all the taverns, you're allowed to come in and order a beer, take it out of the business, walk around, check out all the classic cars. So each week has a different theme, and that runs through the end of August. So definitely make it down on a Wednesday. And it's not just about the cars. We have food trucks. The Park District brings out kids' activities. The Chamber is really calling it Lamont's Block Party, and that's what it is every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday you have a block party here.
Well, every Wednesday in summer, so through the end of August. So from June to August, every Wednesday.
So where are we heading to next?
I think we need to check out Matt's Barbecue.
They got hot sauce there?
They got hot sauce, they got barbecue, they got brisket that will blow your mind.
Well, I say hot sauce because I'm obligated to remind people about Sid Sauce and sidsauce.net. This family plants the peppers on the south side, grows the peppers, makes the peppers into 17 different kinds of hot sauces, bottles the peppers, and then delivers the peppers to your door. You can see everything that they have to offer on their website. It's where I get all of my hot sauces. They have it for whether or not you're putting it on hot wings, if you want to put it on your taco, you name it, they have it. Check out all they have to offer at sidsauce.net. My friend, we're off on a little jaunt here through Lemont.
Yeah, a little downtown adventure.
Matt Borner's sitting here, and I'm going to admit to him right now, I've been here before. Came out here with the family about a month ago, had my 2 teenagers, my 7-year-old, my wife. We got a big platter. We sat outside. It was glorious. And I got to tell you something right now. I'm shocked to hear you just started this business because it felt to me like you've been here forever. Welcome to Southside Pod. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. So tell me a little bit about this, because Jason was telling me you're like a pandemic business. You created this because of the pandemic, and it is a really cool spot to hang out in Lemont.
Yeah, I was a local 150 operating engineer for 19 years, and this was a little side hustle that I was doing. I got 5 kids, so, I was one.
5 kids, Jesus. What's wrong with you? Like, when I got to 3, it was an oops. You went on to 5?
I think you know what I like doing. But, I was doing this for quite a while on the side, just a side gig literally out of my garage. So I started developing more and more, people that were ordering off me, catering, this and that. So then I created a Facebook page. That Facebook page turned into a private Facebook group. And then off we kind of went since we started that. Now I've got 2,300 people in that group. People were ordering off me like crazy. I started having lines outside of my house. So I didn't know how much, the neighbors appreciated that. But off we went. So it was just going really well. And then, I started going, maybe I could make something out of this,
Somebody comes into Matt's in Lemont. First thing they're going to see is the menu is fluid. You are writing it down on big sheets of paper and putting it up there, and when you're out of something, you're out of something, but that means it's fresh. You cooked it right there. It's perfect. You took the time all day long to make it. Tell me a little bit about that, because I think a lot of places you walk into for barbecue, everything's available all night. People don't think in the back of their head, like, this might be from 3 days ago. Like, you make it, and when it's out, it's out.
Well, I think one of the biggest tells is when you go to a barbecue joint and you don't see a smoker or you don't see a pitman. You're going, where does that come from? Where did what happened to it? And was it made today? Was it made yesterday? Where did it come from? Was it from a different kitchen? Things like that. Here, you go outside, it's all right there. You're seeing our guys. Most of them are probably drinking a beer as they're cooking. It's kind of that whole fun vibe. As far as us putting stuff on the menu, it's things that I've always cooked myself. For family parties and different get-togethers and things that we have. A lot of it just I kind of off the top of my head, but most of it, Central Texas style or something I picked up from a different spot that I was at. And we cook what we can, and then once it's gone, try again tomorrow. I sometimes get people that are upset at me about it, but at the end of the day, I just say, if you can get here a little earlier, please. I say we'll have it tomorrow again. But
best compliment I can give you is that I've been to barbecue places. They give me brisket. They sell it to me by the pound, like how you do it, and you get the meat, and half the meat is nothing but fat. You are giving out the good cuts.
I guess my biggest thing as far as us and our barbecue is, can you enjoy the flat end of a brisket? And there's a lot of points. People, when they render them down right, they can get them right. It's getting that flat right and getting that moist enough to where you enjoy that just as much as you would enjoy the point. And we strive on trying to do that here. Most of the time we nail it. I'll be the first person to say sometimes I'll cut into a brisket and go, crap. But that's part of barbecue too. So what do? You can repurpose that stuff while it's still fresh. You can make tacos out of it that are still really good. You could do things with it. It's just you don't want to serve that to somebody that just spent $28 on a pound of brisket. I know it's expensive, but come hang out while we cook for 12 hours. Come see the process. Come watch. That's the thing that I think separates the good ones from the bad ones is the time and really learning what you can do and how you can do it and making it work for everybody.
What's your address here?
Address is 308 Canal Street in downtown Lemont.
All right, get over here. They got indoor, they got outdoor. They have the smokers right out there. You could smell it when you're coming down the street. The train goes by. My kid loved that the train zips by while we're sitting out there engorging ourselves on meat and drinking some good beers. You got great beers on tap. It's an excellent spot. And Jason, you killed it bringing me over here to meet Matt.
Hey, when you're in downtown Lemont, it's like you said, it's always a party. So come down any day. You're going to have good food. Matt, thanks for investing in Lemont. We appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, and what's the best thing here to get? Come on, real quick.
Picking one of my five favorite kids. Get the brisket sandwich. Get the brisket sandwich. Get some coleslaw on the side. Get yourself a PBR on tap. Go play some bean bags. Maybe try a side of burn ends.
That's awesome. Matt, thanks so much, man.
No, thank you.
Building relationships, supporting the community, and service. These are the things that Country Financial stands for. They're neighbors who lend a helping hand and support the fabric of your community, including charitable organizations, sports, financial education, and civic organizations. And since Country is already your neighbor, they want to get together and chat. Call your local Country Financial representative, Mike Thauer, today at 708-425-1559 to talk about the things that are important to you and how he can help you protect them. Mike was in Alaska. He sends a video, and I thought when I first saw it that it was just a joke video. Like, I didn't realize he was, because I was in a bar.
Video.
I was in a bar and I couldn't hear the sound.
Of course you were.
And I'm like, yeah, of course I was.
I mean, it was 9 o'clock on Tuesday
I was
morning,
in a
Bill.
bar and I wasn't paying any attention. So anyway, all of a sudden I'm just like, why is he sending me a video of these bears running at the person holding the camera? And then the guy gets out of the way and jumps into the woods. And then these giant grizzly bears run by.
But then you turn on the audio and you hear
it's
Mike's
Mike
voice
screaming like
and
a
his
girl.
wife's voice.
Yeah, it's his wife telling Mike to remain calm while
My
he screams.
favorite, and I don't know, I have to ask you this. I heard your wife say it twice, and I think I heard someone else say it.
Yeah.
They go, "Hey, bear."
Yeah.
Hey, bear.
What is that?
Like
Why?
they were like they saw their girlfriend riding their bike down the
bear.
street. Like, "Hey, Julie."
Hey, bear.
Do they tell you that's what you had to say, or do bears know that word? Is the bear like, "What's up?" as he's riding by?
No, as you're walking.
Hey, bear.
As you're walking in the bear areas, you want to make conversation to make noise. If the bears hear the noise,
If you just grunted,
But do they tell you to say the words "Hey bear"?
Yeah.
the training video they showed us at the park, the people are saying "Hey bear."
Hey bear.
Hey,
So-
bear.
Right.
But then they're singing it, and we didn't.
Do you
sing.
think that the bears understand you're saying bear? Like if you're like, hey, moose, they probably would still keep running, right?
They would, but "Hey moose" doesn't sound as good as "Hey bear."
I was walking down the street in Wrigleyville one time.
Oh boy,
Never mind. It's a different story. When you see them,
that's Boys Town, by the way.
hey bear. When you see,
Somebody said that to you when you were walking
yeah,
by.
right. I had a full beard at the time, so I didn't understand it at all until right this very minute. So I'm a little turned on. But anyway, so when you see a bear in Alaska,
Right.
and he's running towards you at full speed, you're supposed to say,
No,
"Hey bear."
Hey, bear.
you're supposed to be.
And he's like, "What's up?"
What's crazy is these bears go running by in the video, and Mike is still filming. You're filming
No,
it, right?
Bethany was filming.
So you're behind your
I
wife.
was the last one in
No,
the line.
hold on a second. I was trying to figure this out, and I caught him.
right.
The bears run by. They
Yeah.
both jump out of the way. You never see Mike's body,
No.
which means he's
No, you
hiding
do.
behind his
do.
wife.
Yes.
No.
When the bears go by.
Look-
You stood directly behind
Let's
Bethany,
look at
didn't
the
you?
video right now.
I don't want to
was-
look at the video. I know what happened. I
bear.
can't change my mind.
Hey, bear.
Hey, bear.
I wasn't. There was.
Hey, boo boo. Hey, there, boo boo. I got a picnic basket.
I'm gonna hide behind my wife. I don't want you to eat me. I'm
Yeah.
gonna put a podcast.
Eat my wife. I can get a new one. Hey, boo boo.
Hey bear. 1, 2, 3. How many feet is it?
9.
How many feet is it?
9.
How many feet is it?
9.
It's the homemade 9-foot oak bar. How many feet is it?
9.
How many feet is it?
9.
How many feet is it? It's the homemade oak bar. We're down here drinking at the homemade 9-foot oak bar. And I know wish you were here and not so far away from the homemade 9-foot oak bar. Is it leek? Is it teak? I don't know, but it's not redwood, it's oak, you know. It's the how many feet is it?
9.
How many feet is it?
9.
How many feet is it?
9.
It's a homemade 9-foot oak bar. I said, how many feet is it?
9.
How many feet is it?
9.
How many feet is it? Homemade 9-foot oak bar. Homemade 9-foot oak bar.
We have a good time down here at Southside Pod each and every week with 30 minutes of good. It's for anybody who wants to check out what's going on around the South Side. Not everybody can get around so easily, and we're kind of a window outside of their home. Let's say that you or a loved one are having a hard time getting around. You need a ramp to get in and out of the house, or a chairlift system to bring you from the first to second floor. Or maybe it's just medical equipment that helps you out. Oxygen tanks, CPAP machines, diabetes control, that and more available in the big brand new showroom at Hyatt Home Medical Equipment located on the South Side. They work with your insurance, and they give you an additional discount when you mention Southside Pod. It's all about staying independent and in the home. And the great thing about Hyatt is they're here on the South Side. You can go and see them face to face. You can check out everything they have to offer. Maybe they have a solution you haven't thought of. Get a taste of what Hyatt can do for you by checking them out online at hhme.com or visit them today, 3518 West 95th Street in Evergreen Park. So back in the day, I was a wrestling fan. Macho Man Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan, and then I went away. And then the Attitude Era hit in WWE, and also WCW comes along. You got NWO, you got D-Generation X, you got my favorite, The Rock, you got Stone Cold Steve Austin. It was nothing but personality. I loved it when I was older. I was in college. I was just out of college, and it was one of my guilty pleasures. And I came back for a little while later on when CM Punk dropped pipe bombs. But somebody who covers wrestling nonstop never leaves it and covers the local scene, because you may not know this, on the South Side, there are wrestling matches happening all the time, all kinds of local wrestling promoters. On the phone with us right now from Windy City Slam, Mike Pankow. How are you, Mike?
Hey, Chris, I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
Good. I mean, Marion Catholic does something out on their football field, and Thornton Distilling, they do things. We've been out there before, and there's always something going on, it seems like, if not every weekend, every other weekend. And on Southside Pod, I wanted to kind of dive into it and talk with you. You have the podcast Windy City Slam. It is part of the Broadcast Basement On Demand Radio Network. We have not checked in with each other in a while, and from what I understand, there's stuff happening this weekend right away. What's up?
Yeah, Freelance Underground is at Thornton Distilling Company in Thornton, as you were mentioning before, that I know you actually kind of stumbled upon their last event at that venue, and now they're back. The show is called This Thing of Ours, and it's Saturday night, August the 13th, 7 p.m. The big match of the night is a no-holds-barred match. Project Monix. He's one of the biggest villains in the Chicago area now. He's going to be out there with the godfather of Chicago wrestling, James Russo, in his corner, taking on the lovable and Monix's former friend, Chico Suave. So this should be a really, really fun event.
I did bump into the end of a wrestling match on the South Side recently. Like I stopped in at Thornton Distilling. They've been on Southside Pod before. It's a distillery that is in a building that started around the time of Abe Lincoln. I mean, there's pictures of his brother up on the wall in the place. It was once a place that Al Capone would use to run booze. It was a brewery, now a distillery. They draw their water from an underground limestone river that also feeds down in the Kentucky and Tennessee, where you get all these great bourbons and whiskeys and such, and they're doing their own thing there, and it's a cool place to pop into. And I bump into just a bunch of wrestlers at the bar. And that is a weird thing to see, Mike. I'm going to tell you, when you walk into a place that like feels historic in a building from the 1800s, and there's people in spandex with a little bit of blood on their arm or something from their match that they had, and they're knocking back drinks. The female wrestlers, they put on all this crazy makeup. They're standing there. I'm like, what did I just walk into? If you don't expect it, it's jarring. And I would think that is just kind of a fun event to go to because they hang out afterwards.
Yeah, those brewery events are a lot of fun. I've been to a few of them. Freelance Underground has had a few up in Itasca in addition to Thornton. Zello Pro's had a few at the breweries in the Chicagoland area. It's a fun atmosphere. It's a very intimate, rowdy crowd, maybe 100, 120, 130 people, how many ever you can fit in that little area. And it's a really good time. And you have beer, you joke around with your friends, and you see a few people beat each other up.
I got this from going over to the Thunderbolts games in Crestwood because they'll have wrestling, I want to say on Thursday nights after the game is over. And as somebody who watched pro wrestling on TV, I'd be like, well, this isn't going to be that good. This is be a bunch of amateurs, right? I'm not going to be into this. And you don't even need to know what's going on, right? Like the matches are compelling. They're interesting. It's a fun time. And I think it's like one of those things that people don't realize is right here on their back step, in their backyard here on the South Side. Beside the one that's going on at Thornton Distilling, what else is coming up soon?
We also have Impact Wrestling. That's one of the larger companies in the country. They've been around for 20 years now. They're coming into the Chicago area this Friday and Saturday night at Cicero Stadium. They have 2 nights of events. Friday night's like a mini pay-per-view special called Emergence, and Saturday they're going to be doing TV tapings. I was able to talk to Jordan Grace and Moose this past week for Windy City Slam. Those interviews are up on the rechristened Windy City Slam YouTube channel. In fact, the Jordan Grace interview already has over 1,000 views in just a little over 2 days since I posted it.
Take me through the wrestlers that people could have seen in recent years in Chicago on the South Side that are now making it big, because I know that there's a few of them that have made their way to AEW, have made their way to WWE. Cora Jade, didn't she come out of here?
Yeah, she's from Plainfield originally. Now she's doing some big things on NXT. She's terrific. She was known as Elena Black for a few years in organizations such as Freelance Wrestling, Freelance Underground, Zello Pro, Kaiju Attack Wrestling. And she's been terrific. Her character, she just turned heel after a run as a babyface down there, even though she was a heel primarily on the Chicago scene. Yeah, but Cora Jade is a terrific wrestler. She just turned 21, a very fun follow as well. Mustafa Ali is back in WWE. He's starting to get a little bit more TV time again with Triple H at the helm, taking over for the old man who finally has been banished from the company. And then AEW, obviously, is CM Punk. Occasionally, you might see Colt Cabana come out. It's a really cool scene in Chicago, and you see guys grow. And also, there's Tony D'Angelo in NXT. He was the guy that was in Power Entertainment as Joey Areola. So that's another name to watch over the years. He has kind of a Tony Soprano Don character, which is really a lot of fun.
Wait, I remember that guy. His name was Joey Areola, and they didn't let him keep that name?
No, I changed it to Tony D'Angelo.
That's crazy. That's crazy. You would think that name would stick, Mike. All right. So if there's somebody out there right now on the South Side or in the Chicagoland area in one of these promotions that people should be keeping an eye out for, can you give that person to me? And maybe if you know the next time they might be able to catch them locally? Because normally we would do a whole thing on what's going on this weekend on the South Side with our bulletin board, all brought to you by Cool Clouds Vapor Shop, where quitting smoking is hard, and Cool Clouds wants to offer you an alternative with their full taster bar, their CBD products. Check them out, coolcloudsvapor.com, or stop in at 3837 West 95th Street. But instead of a big list of things going on this weekend, I think people should be looking for a wrestling show. Who are they looking for?
Yes, I have a name right at the top of my head. His name is Storm Grayson. He was recently the freelance world champion. Kind of got screwed over. It was what I call it the Logan Square screw job. Mick Foley actually was the special guest referee for this match. Screws over Storm Grayson. Robert Eagle Anthony is your new freelance champion once again. But Storm Grayson, terrific athlete, great young guy. Just had him on Windy City Slam podcast a couple of weeks ago. He's a guy I've been talking up for weeks and months as an up-and-coming star. In fact, he's already appeared on WWE and AEW programming. He just needs to improve the promos a little bit more, which I think is why he's starting to do the podcast now. I think in the next 6 months to a year, if he chooses to leave Chicago and jump to a bigger promotion, Storm Grayson's going to be a guy to watch.
Interesting. All right. Well, listen, if somebody's never done this before, let's say somebody's listening to this and they're like, wait a minute, hold on a second. I can go sit someplace and have some drinks, like up at Thornton on Saturday at the distillery, and check out one of these things. Any tips for them? Like, because I would think that there would be a little apprehension. Like me, I sit there and I think to myself, all right, well, this is a local scene. It's probably kind of an underground scene. It's probably one of those things where a lot of people seem to know each other. Like the same people are going to every show. You don't want to feel like an outsider when you walk into something like this if you've never seen it before. Give like some tips to first timers that might be going to one of these shows that you mentioned.
Just let the events happen. Have some fun. Immerse yourself. And if there's wrestlers around, say hello to them. A lot of them are very personable. And in fact, Storm Grayson will be at this show in Thornton on Saturday night. So if you want to see a future superstar in your midst, go check that out. I just love going to these shows, and I meet new people all the time. And you're right, there are a lot of regulars. And if you're a new person walking in the door, just let it happen, you know. Be warm, welcoming, say hello to everybody.
Awesome. Mike Pankow, Windy City Slam. It's on YouTube. It's a podcast. You can check out everything at windycityslam.com. He writes, he covers it. He sits down with these guests. For a time, I actually used to join him on that program, and it was a lot of fun to talk with some of these wrestlers. And every once in a while, they'll come on and talk like normal people, and every once in a while, they'll come on and they don't break character, which is really weird and fun all at the exact same time. So make sure you check out Mike and check out some of these events that are coming up. And my friend will check back in with you more often because I am becoming intrigued with this scene, especially because it's showing up more and more in the south and southwest suburbs of Chicago.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. Great to talk to you.
Hey, Bear. Hey, Bear. Hey, Bear.
Well, he's still right there. Michelle's coming back up more.
Hey, Bear.
Is that close enough?
There was 4 of us walking, and Bethany was in front because she had the camera. She wanted to be in front with the camera.
So your wife was also the scout, and you were the furthest
Did you
person
hear the
away
bears
from her.
coming, and you're like, gotta get the camera ready.
No,
Or you were just randomly taping?
she had her GoPro on.
Oh,
Yeah, I could tell that they were wearing. Somebody was
wearing her
wearing
GoPro.
something. Was it on her
She
chest
had it
or
right
head
away.
or whatever?
Right.
Terrible video. You need a new GoPro.
You know what's funny though is originally I thought it was Mike and he was wearing a GoPro on his head. Then I realized his much taller wife was just wearing it on her chest.
Hey, Bear.
Hey, Bear.
I fucking hate you guys.
It's the Southside! It's the Southside! It's Southside Pod! Thanks for listening! Thanks for tuning in to the Southside Pod! Y'all come back now, you hear?